Take two. And good afternoon, everybody. Take two. I'm going to start off with a little music for you first before we get into some goodies here. And I'll use what I did for the sound check. Thank you. Oh, it's like the crowd wars. All right. I was thinking about what to do today, and I actually had a couple topics that is sort of a repeat. So some of you may have seen this, but it's been a few months, and I think it's very important that everybody knows how to do one of these things today. Actually, both of what we're going to do today. But the first thing I want to talk about. Re-talk about. This is a topic we've talked about many times over the last 4 years, and that is this lovely device called the USB. Yeah, I have some students here, they're chuckling. Or if you don't have a USB organ, floppy disk drive, okay, functionally wise, they do work the same. The floppy disks, it just holds a little less information on it. I remember when USBs first came out, and you probably remember when USBs were starting to become popular, you had to spend a lot of money for a USB. If you got a USB that was 8 gigabytes, you probably spent like $25, $30 for that. Now you can buy them for, what, $5 or something? Oh, yeah. They were pretty expensive when they first came out. In fact, all of the Lowrey USB sticks when they first came out were all half a gig. And the reason for that, so if you are going out there looking for USBs for your organ, we commonly recommend get the smallest one that you can find. I think nowadays the smallest one that you can find that would work is 8 gigabytes. SanDisk has them. And I've had some hit and miss with SanDisk. I've had some that will work on like an Aria and not on here, on the A, and then vice versa. So, and then I've had one USB, it was the strangest thing. It would work on the Symphony, but it wouldn't work on a Liberty, and they're both A models. Weird things happen, and vice versa. So when you find one that does work, just remember that, just get that same one again if you want it. Floppy disks are floppy disks. If you get them, if you can still find them out there, I've offered them to certain students. I've shipped, I only have a handful. The floppy disk, just so you know, this half a gig USB is equal to about 250 floppy disks. So you can imagine back in the day when we were doing a lot of presets, we had students that had a bunch of floppy disks. Now, keep in mind, too, that the other reason for the size of the stick, unless you're going to use it for other things like put videos and things that take up a lot of space, The Lowrey stick format is formatted to only allow you to put 250 recordings and 250 group of presets, okay? And when I say group, as an example, this organ here, for example, is A, B, C, D, E, all right? That's one group. So if I save this one group on a USB, okay, that's group one on the USB. I can do that up to 250 times. And regardless of the amount, you could have a 100 gigabyte stick. It won't make a difference. It limits you to 250 and 250. The other thing to keep in mind too is when you get, I don't think I've ever gotten that far. You could put 250 in there, but when you load them, it takes a little time for the organ to populate the information. Now, once it populates it and you keep this USB stick in the organ, then it's a little faster when you access the files. But if you power off the organ and start from scratch, it takes a little time. And you'll see, yes.
I do have a question while you're on this. I have saved 25 to 30 at the most on the 8 USB. And there are times when I only get 6 or 7. Why is that?
It could be the USB.
Oh, okay. I was so shocked.
I've had strange things happen with USBs. Just a week ago, you said.
Yeah, that's what I was going to comment. I couldn't load the darn thing. It wouldn't come out.
She has Aria and USB that's used a few times, and it just didn't say there was anything in there or nothing there or something. And all of a sudden, I got a text that said everything was there. This one happens a lot. This probably happens to you. I put it in.
Yeah.
I put it in, and it says I didn't insert the USB in there. And I know it's in there.
Yeah.
I take it out, put it in again, you know.
Okay.
So sometimes
That's what it is.
stuff happens. And,
But on the other
and
hand,
if you try to troubleshoot, is it the organ, is the USB? If it starts working again, and yes, I don't think anyone's going to have an exact answer on that, unfortunately. And sometimes I do it again. And
AI, that's AI.
AI, is that what you think? Anyway, so I want to go over some functions. I looked back the last time I talked about USBs, and it's been a few months, and I might take it a step further. I have another topic that I think is always a good topic too. But basic USB function, first of all, I've been really getting into lately creating a lot of presets on various products, not just the Lowrey. And I'm getting in the habit of sharing. We used to never sell USB software, and so we're doing that as well too. You know, we are a business. I guess we should sell our stuff, right? And you know, guys like Marco Mendez, well, he pays the bills by making presets for students, and they're great presets. You got a child prodigy making a beautiful arrangement of a song so that when you play it, you sound great. And that's not easy to do. You know, I know that's why I do a song of the month once a month, because I take so much time. I literally take hours trying to come up with arrangement. And then when I'm done, sometimes I'm going, God, I don't think I really did that much in that arrangement, but it took me forever to get to that point. And then I change it, don't I? Yes, and then I change the arrangement. So, you know, yeah, it's a lot of time and effort. You don't pay for this little stick. You're paying for the brain power of our talented artists, and we have a lot of USBs we're going to be offering in the future. But a lot of times we give you stuff, or you have stuff already, or you got presets that were made at the store, or you got them somewhere. Sometimes you get a USB that doesn't have presets on them, but you can get the presets from them. Oh, how is that? So we'll cover that. So, and the same thing applies on the floppy. So when I refer to the USB, functionality-wise, it's going to be relatively the same. Now, fortunately, you EX owners, you'll notice that if you have your USB stick loaded to the hilt, it doesn't take as long to populate on the screen. As an example, I had a student once that had a USB this was way back. At the time, she had I think it was a Liberty, and she was questioning me on this stuff. And I said, let me do an example. So I took her stick and I converted it to the EX, and she had like 125 groups of presets on here. She was loaded up. One stick, and we put it in there. We counted to 15 seconds. I did a stopwatch thing, and 15 seconds is not that long. But when you're sitting there waiting for it to populate, 15 seconds is a long time. And then we did it on the EX, and then it was like 3 seconds or 2 seconds. It was pretty quick. There are, I think, 16 microprocessors on there. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. Today I want to just talk about some simple, basic, you have a USB, you have presets on there, or you don't. How do I get the stuff, okay? So, before we get started, some people use the organ to format the USB. I have to tell you, in all the years of doing this, the only time I've ever formatted a USB was to show someone how to format a USB.
Formatting for.
In case you want to just wipe it out, clean it out, and make sure it's formatted for, it'll just clean it out, make sure there's nothing on there, and start scratch. If you have a blank USB, the minute you put it in, the minute you push record, or the minute you push save preset, it automatically puts a Lowrey folder on that, and it automatically sets it up for it to work. So every now and then I've had some USBs that wasn't working properly, and I formatted and it did work, and then sometimes it did it and wouldn't format. So just keep that in mind. Here's what you don't want to do. If you have a USB that has stuff on it, and you go to the format, and you start formatting, even if it gets to 10%, guess what? That first, it shows up. It goes like 10, 20, 30. The minute that thing starts and you stop, guess what? It's all gone. So don't format a USB unless you actually are sure that you're going to format it and everything's, because even if you stop, and it'll usually ask you too, are you sure you want to do this? Okay? But let's talk about USBs and stuff that's on there. So I have a few USBs floating around. Okay, how about, I'll go over here. This was a thing I put online, we offered a while back. It's called the Virtual Orchestra Greatest Hits. One of our previous former Fletcher artists put this together way back for us. And this has a lot of great songs in it. As an example, it has, I don't know if you could see that there. Well, maybe you can get real close. It's got songs like Satin Doll, Begin the Beguine, Love Us, Keep Us Together, Hit the Road Jack, Temptation. Those were the days. A lot of great songs on here, okay? And if I want to play the song and use the setup set he used to play them, this particular USB has both the recording of the song and it has the setups for the song. Okay? Now, some of us, when we do this, as you know, sometimes we specifically put where to make the preset changes, right? Load it, and we're going to work on that today afterwards. Put the USB in, load it in, you push A1, and then you play the song, and it says 2, and you push the number, and it's a specific preset we're telling you where to do. I'll do an example of that later. This one was done that you can use the presets in any order, which I thought was pretty clever. So, for example, let's say I want to play Wonderful World, okay? So I'll put my music up, page number 35.
All the presets that you can play with the USB.
Yes, this has both. And actually in this book, I couldn't decide which version. I have 2 versions of Wonderful World in here.
Heavy duty notes there.
Huh? No, it's easy play. Yeah. See? Yeah.
Distance, it looks like
Yeah, from a distance it looks like it, but it's not. From a distance.
I would love you.
All right. Wonderful World. All right. Let me put Wonderful World up here. All right, I will switch the screen here in a second. Wait. Yeah, is this the right USB? I have a bunch of them floating around here. All right. Make sure I got the right one first. Yeah, it must be it because it's taken a while. This one has 35 songs. Now, I'm going to take the USB out and so you could see this, okay? Let me change the screen here. Where is it? All right. You guys see that screen up there okay?
Yep.
All right. Now let me find this. Okay. All right. Oops. My screen. Okay. So I've got the USB in. If I touch the USB option, I'll switch to the correct screen because I got both screens going on here. When I touch the USB option, what happens? Oh, bear with me. Someone changed my settings on here. Screen. No, that's not what I want. I'll keep it in that color. Screen. Left. Now I gotta, bear with me. I'm gonna do this so I don't have to do this every time. Right. Memorize 3. Okay. All right, so we have a choice of the cherry screen, or you have a choice of, that one's too hard on my eyes. The blue. Do you have a preference? I guess it doesn't matter, right? As long as you could see it. Okay, so I'm going to touch the USB option, and when I do, that comes up. And we'll talk about the load song presets in a little bit. But in this case, I want to do load presets. So this one has 35 groups of presets and 35 song recordings from the book. So you could see there, it took a few extra seconds. I didn't count, but I'm guessing that was about 5 seconds. So you could see there's 37, okay? 37 song titles. Now, right now, I'm just looking at the presets, and I wanted to go to Wonderful World, right? So you just simply select it, and then I just go all, loading all presets, and it says all presets loaded. Now, some of us go to the trouble of titling them. Sometimes we don't. But when you pull it up on the screen, you'll see there it says Wonderful World. But if I go back to the preset information, you'll see it says Wonderful World and all the different types of sounds that were used throughout the process. Okay? And then basically, you just play the song. In this case, this particular book was done that if you push A0, it automatically sets up the intro, and then you can use 1 through 10 however you see fit in any order. So I'll just play a little bit of the song. you can go through. I'm not going to play them all. Let it finish out here. Okay, so that's just an example of that. And again, if as long as the USB is in, and I'm going to go back to that screen. I'll go back here. Now watch what happens when I press USB. Okay, ready? Load. You see it's a little quicker. That's because it already accessed it and the USB is still in. Now if I take it out, put it back in or power it off and start over, that initial time is going to take a little extra time. Okay? Now, I'm going to clear the screen, leave that up there. Over to the right side of the organ, I did this recently. I'll just touch on it. Where I told you this actually has songs that are recorded on the USB. So over to the right side of the organ, you have, well, let me correct myself. Over to the right side on the SU and the A series models, okay? On the EX models, it's down here, okay? And on the EY models that have USB, the Inspire and the Rialto, I want to say it's up on the dash. Someone can verify that for me if you happen to have an Inspire Rialto, okay? But it's called... It is, okay. It's called the music recorder section, okay? And basically, the minute you select an arrow, a rewind or fast forward arrow, all right, it'll pull up the list of songs. Now, because it's already accessed the files, it shouldn't take that long to do. So what I'll do is I'll switch to the screen and talk you through what I'm doing. And so I'm at the music recorder section, and I just hit the fast forward or rewind arrow. Now, keep in mind, I don't want to turn this into an all-lung class on one topic because we just did it. If you have an EX or EY USB organ, you have two formats that you access in the exact same area. Right now, I'm accessing the Lowrey format, not the MP format. And the MP format is basically like a CD, okay? So you can see it pull up the songs, and then you just very simply find the song that you want to play. I'll just put that one on. So if you're listening to this and you like it, what you hear, you can go, hey, I like those sounds, and you can go back to the USB and use the sounds, okay? Now, let's do another scenario here. And I was going through my USBs last week. Just over time, what happens is I use one here, one there, I do some here, and next thing you know, I had like 8 different USBs that had information from various things, and I said, that's way too many. And because a lot of them were, for example, my Song of the Month USB. I have one for that, but sometimes I start with files, and then sometimes I'll experiment on another one and this and that. And I really need one USB for both, and so I basically did a little clean house. And I came across this one, and I went, oh, I remember this from last year. And this was the holiday music camp that we did. I don't know if any of you attended that or not, or you probably have this. But there was a little trick to this USB. So I'm going to put this in. And I'm going to load. Let me put the screen back on, and I'm going to do the same thing. I want to load presets. Let's see here. Oops. Come on. Okay. So I'm going to push USB. Okay. On the disk drive, I think it says disk. Okay. And I'm going to touch load presets. Now this, no data found. Did I wipe this USB out? Uh-oh.
Formatted it.
I think I might have deleted it. Not to worry. I can very quickly access these files. No, you know what? Yes, I do want to do this. Hold on a second. I need an extra USB port here. All right. Let's see if I can do this on the fly here. Put this camera. This is prettier than a TV. I'll pause the recording. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Here's a good example. Let me switch cameras so you can see this. Oh, now I got to put this camera back on. Careful, careful, don't disconnect. And where are you, camera? There you are. Okay. All right. So here's a USB that has the 50 songs that many of you are familiar with, and it took a long time because I realized I did multiple things with this USB. All right. Those are 50 songs and a bunch. So these are the 50 songs. They look familiar there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now these are Lowrey formatted songs, not the MP or what we'd find on a CD, okay? Now what I'm going to do is just push an example of When the Saints Go Marching In, okay? And I'm going to press play. Now as it's playing, okay? Now I don't know if you could see this. But right here, A1 is lit. So when Bill Curry recorded this, he put his own presets in. Now watch, A2. Now, I don't know if you could see that from there, but it's on A2. I can do the camera, but I might make it dizzy. But now you can hear the banjo in there. Now let's listen some more. Okay, so I went to number 3. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, so this is his third setup he's using to record the song. Let me see. Boy, he's got another setup. All right. And you can see it happening, and if you were up close, A1, 2, 3, 4. And I think he's got one more. There you go. I'll stop it there. I think that's his last one. So as the recording was going, I saw A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you ever have a USB that someone recorded for you, you could see what they used on the settings to record that song. Some of us, when we record, we just put rhythm preset on, and we might go rhythm preset 1, rhythm preset 5, rhythm preset, and we jump around. Well, all you have to do is remember when you see that, oh, he used just rhythm preset or style setup 1, 2. That's easy. You don't need to load anything. If we did that, you could take that setup and you go, oh, okay, he did rhythm preset 1, 5, 6, 7. I'll just remember that. But if you see a recording of a song and you see A1, B something, or C, and you see those numbers jumping, we used our own settings to record that song. But here's the catch. Sometimes we don't give you those settings. Sometimes we just record the song. Okay? It's not because we're being mean. Well, it is. If you don't buy an organ enough times. No, I'm just kidding. Okay? So now, for example, this USB, I have other stuff on here. Now, let's go back to the screen. Before I do that, let's make sure you see what's on this USB, okay? So I put on the music recorder. And those are all the 50 songs. You can see that there, right? Now, let me go to the feature where it says load presets. Now, let's see. Let's see what happens. A lot of stuff on there. I know, because I put a bunch of stuff on there. I think I was experimenting. Okay, so when you look at this, that's not Amazing Grace. That's not. These look like this. Yeah, they're so. Yeah, these look like my presets that I had on a stick once upon a time. Various stuff. None of the presets from those songs that were recorded are on this USB stick. But wait a second, Robert. When I was watching that recording of Bill, because you could have both. You could have a recording of Artist 1 doing all sorts of recordings, and on that same USB, you can put presets of other, you can do multiple things with a USB. It doesn't have to be the same artist and the same songs and all that. So in this example, I want When the Saints Go Marching In, the setups that Bill used, okay? And this is where sometimes people get a little confused. So what I'm going to do is push USB. Cecilia, this might jog your memory because you asked me this question a couple weeks ago. Now you'll see it there, it says load presets, right? And on the EXEY it'll say setups. Right next to it, it says load song presets.
I kept doing the wrong one.
They're different. Sometimes they serve the same purpose depending on how the USB is made, and sometimes they don't, okay? So I'm going to reiterate. This particular USB that I have in the organ has the 50 songs recorded from the Lowrey Black Songbook by Bill Curry. On the preset side of things, I have all my presets that I've used for various stuff, and there's some miscellaneous things in there. They have nothing to do with each other. Songs of the month, plus some other stuff. Doesn't matter. They have nothing to do with each other, okay? I want the setups from what Bill used to play When the Saints. So if you select Load Song Presets, you just got to wait. Yeah, every time you go back to the other function, it takes a little time.
What I had on my organ.
Okay. So you see, there's the, now look, these are the songs that were recorded. But remember, I didn't use the play feature. I used Load Song Presets. So I just find the song that he played. I press Saints, and then I hit All, and it says Load All Presets, all presets loaded. Now, when I push A1, I should, in theory, have the presets that Bill used to play and record the song that you just heard. So let's see. Now, I won't do all the fancy solo and all that, but we'll go through the sounds. There's that banjo. There's that clarinet. There's trombone. Then he finished with that. So there's an example where this USB has 50 songs recorded, and I noticed that the artist was recording the songs, had his presets that he used to record it, which is smart, because we don't want to make a lot of mistakes. We just want to go from one to the other. And then I took the same USB and I loaded it with presets that had nothing to do with it. You can do that. Okay? You can make it.
You have to put them at a different number? How does that
It just knows. You just know. Well, basically, when you're doing stuff to the USB, whether you're saving things or loading things, look on here. Oh, now we got to wait again. This is annoying.
That was forever, hours like that on the Aria. It never went.
It was telling you to buy another Aria. All right, so if you go through here, look at it. See, 14 and 15 is blank. So if I wanted to save, so I could, wherever there's a blank spot is where I can save. That's how you do it. I could add more presets to this. You know, I can keep going and going.
Up to 250.
Up to 250. Okay? So the reason why I wanted to share the holiday one,
That's all the
the holiday USB, was because when we did that holiday music camp, we did it 2 years in a row. And then the second year we did it again, and we did a lot of different holiday songs. There were like 30 some odd songs in there. But all we did, all I asked the artist to do, Don, Joe, Joni, all of us, all I asked them to do is record 2 or 3 great holiday Christmas songs. And a lot of us used our own setups to record those songs. Some didn't, like Joe did one song where he used the rhythm presets, which was great. And so they had all these wonderful songs recorded, but some people wanted to play these songs themselves. And then I told them, and they were like, wow, that's great. If you see a song recorded and it's playing back and you say A, 1, 2, 3, 4, you go, oh, well then he used presets to record that song, he or she. And if you do the long load song preset option, you can grab the presets they used to record the song, put them in the organ, and then you can play the song using their setups. So it's just another way. Now, when I do my song of the month, typically I do both. I say typically. Because sometimes I get the presets done before the recording. Like, there were some songs that were a little harder for me to play, so it took me a while to go back and re-record it. And that's what happened to you. So Cecilia had the presets for, what did I just do? Imagine. But I didn't record the song yet. But I gave her the presets. So she got home and I got a text message. Something's wrong. It's not working. I load song presets. They're not there. Oh my God, you gave me a bad USB. She didn't say all that. I'm making all that up. But I did get a text that she couldn't find it. It wasn't in there. And then I realized she was probably using load song presets initially because I didn't have a recording on there, but I did have the presets. So now they're both on there. So that's what I typically do. And a lot of times the preset comes first, the recording comes second, because I at least want to do it with the least amount of mistakes on the USB.
And back to my question, can you play out of the load song presets with the song appears and it just plays? Can you follow it?
Okay, so the question you had is, can you play along with it while it's playing? Yeah, you can. It depends. I'm going to say it depends. If you have a recorded song that's playing, depending on how we set up the organ, you can play along with those. But I'd be careful about playing the left hand. It'd be more melody. Okay? When Marco does a lot of his presets on the Lowrey organs, he sets up a sound on the top and the lower right. I don't always do that. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I have something there that's really irrelevant to the song. So if there's a sound on the lower right keyboard and we're playing on the top, you can play on the lower right keyboard. The question was, can you basically play along with those songs when they're playing back? So the answer is yes or no, depending on how that setup was done. Or how good you can follow. But even if you could follow, it has to be set up right. So for example, if I recorded a song where I'm focused just on the upper keyboard, even though I'm changing the presets, and there's no sound on the lower right, if you go on the lower right, try to play, if there's nothing there, you're not going to get a melody. Okay? So sometimes people will play along with the top keyboard, but that's not always going to work. If you have, for example, a big sound with a harmony being played by the artist and you want to play along with it, it's going to start clashing sometimes. Or what if, like I heard Bill Curry recording in the When the Saints, he had the clarinet. He did it as a solo. So if you started trying to play with it, the upper keyboard only recognizes one note at a time. So sometimes. And then sometimes we intentionally record songs where we leave the lower right keyboard available. So if you want to play along with the song, you can do that. Okay? I think the USB is one of the most powerful tools, or the floppy disk, that you can have at your fingertips, because there's nothing worse. And I did a whole other class on just saving presets once, but the most common is you get a lot of information given to you, or you buy it, or you get it somehow. And I think loading the presets, it's as simple as learning how to load the presets and putting them on there is perfect, is one of the best tools. Now, Robert, I've got a Lowrey Symphony. I've got a Lowrey Stardust. There's thousands of presets in there already. I got a Lowrey Aria. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of presets. Why do I need a USB with more presets? Well, because I know some of you have had your organ for maybe 2 years now, 3 years in some cases, some of you longer. You use a lot of those presets. So when we have presets made for a song that maybe there's already a song set up, it's just another fresh set of different mind. It's just a fresh approach to a song. I have songs that I've done that Don does and Marco have done, and we have 3 totally different arrangements for the same song. And I know some students who love all 3. How do you say which one's better? I love them all. And that's what's great. And what the beauty of that is, it makes the songs that you love, it doesn't get complacent. Sometimes I have arrangements that I love so much that I go back and I'll do a whole new arrangement for it because I love that song, but I'm getting tired of my same sounds. That happens. I love the sounds, I love the setup, but I've been doing it for 10 years, so I'll go back and redo those setups, and I'll have a whole new, fresh approach. So anyway, I'm preaching now, basically, just about using the USB, okay? Are there any questions? Let me see in the chat. I think someone had a question. That'll give you a chance to... Oh, I had the screen on that TV there that whole time. I could have been putting it on me at least. Let's see. Someone had a question earlier. Let's see. I have a Marquee, Performer, Aria, Liberty, Aria, Rialto.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you alphabetize the presets on the USB?
That's a great
without
question.
installing a program?
That's a great question. Hold on one second.
That's a pain in the neck to, but you do it.
The answer is yes. You can alphabetize them, but it's not as simple as you think,
Probably not.
unfortunately. And I'll give you the abbreviated answer. When you put in a USB, I'll show you an example. You better work. Okay. All right, let's see. I got 3 in my hand. I got to remember which one didn't work right. Okay, well, that's loading. All right, so this is my Song of the Month USB. You'll see there, I went back and forth in my head. Should I alphabetize these or not, or keep them in the order that I did the class? So the order that I have here is when I did it. So the Bésame Mucho was the first one I did back in 2020, and then over time. But you can see they're not in order alphabetically.
Right.
Now let's just say that I wanted to do that, okay? So what I'd have to do is this. First thing I'd have to do is write down all of the songs, which I have them typed, but I'd have to type them, okay, and go in the order, okay? Then I'd have to do this. And let me pull it up on the screen here. Bear with me. As I pull it up, I'll do a screenshot of it. So I could screen share. It'd be a lot easier for me to do it that way. Okay, song of the month. This is the group. All right, let me screenshot this. Now let me show you what it looks like in the computer. Okay, let me pull that up. Screenshots, where are you? Screenshots. Okay, are you ready? So now you saw song 1 was Bésame Mucho, did I say? I think Ave Maria, A Wonderful World. Okay, so right now it says Bésame Mucho was Wonderful World, Ice Castles, New York, New York. Okay. This is how it shows up on the computer. I don't know if you could see that from there, but can you see it from that angle?
Mm-hmm.
So you see where it says AP set 001?
Correct.
That's how it shows up on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say Bésame Mucho.
Right.
Number 2 says 2. On the organ, it would say Wonderful World. So the thing is, I'd have to know which one is which. You can't title it. The minute you change that format, if you start putting the word it won't be recognized anymore. It has to be in the computer. You'd have to put it in the computer. You'd have to keep the AP set the same, and you can only change the number 001, 002, and it has to be in that format. So if I wanted Bésame Mucho to be the second song, I'd have to change the 1 to a 2. So you could see where it gets complicated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that would be a problem because I already have a 2.
All right.
So the answer is yes, but
Man, my
my answer would be
no.
if you have a bunch on there, it's not worth it.
No. No. Well, since my USBs only get 25 to 30,
Yeah,
I'll deal with
but
it.
it gets a little trickier. So
Yeah.
I wanted to at least give the answer, and
That's too
it can
much
be
work.
done. It can be done, but it's tricky. It's like my Bésame Mucho is number 1, and someone will come in and they have a USB with a bunch of stuff on it. And they'll go, I got a bunch of, it has nothing to do with this. And they say, I have a bunch of presets. Can you just add it to mine? So what I have to do is copy my file, put it somewhere else, renumber it, and look on there. If it's like 51 is the last number, then what I do have to do is go back and change mine to 052. And then I put 052 in the folder or the Lowrey. Yeah, it gets a little tricky. So a lot of times we do that. That's why a lot of us, when we teach the songs, my song of the month, when I did it numerically in order.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put it up on Patreon, when I did that, when someone downloaded it, it was automatically the next number. So I would, in my case, I recommended 1 USB for the song of the month, and then just numerically go in order. And once I get to about 50, I think I'm going to start over with another USB because then it takes too long to load. I'm just impatient. Okay, so good question. It's a bad answer. It's an accurate answer, but I know it's the answer, but that's the answer. Right? Any other questions? Okay, but again,
Robert,
yes.
I did put a one in the chat.
Okay, well, let me go look. Is it an easy question? Okay, so I have a Rialto, the Lowrey USB is an MP3. Okay, so when the EY organs were introduced and the EX with a USB, all of those 50 songs originally came in the format as an MP. Okay, so in other words, like a CD. Now, if you have a CD in the organ and you hear the recording, whoever, it didn't matter if it was on a Lowrey organ or not, if it was a Lowrey organ, you can't get those presets from the CD.
Right.
It's not possible.
They don't transfer?
No, because they're on a CD. It's just a recording. That's all it is.
Mhm.
If you have a USB that has an MP songs on it, you can't access those presets either because they're already in a format that's only allowed to be listened to. When we did the holiday music camp USB, I took every Lowrey recording and I converted it into an MP. Yeah, that means I had to listen to 35 songs. Because when it records it, it plays the whole song to convert it. I had to do that, yeah.
Is that why when you send, I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold that thought.
Okay.
And the reason why I did that is an MP can be played in most computers. I put it in my car and I was able to play those songs in my car. But this question's a good question. I got Bill's sounds of recordings on the MP. How do I get those presets? Well, here's what I did.
Convert.
I took the songs from the A series because originally those were all recorded in the Lowrey format. I took them from the A series and I used our conversion program that Lowrey provided us and I converted them all to the E series. So I have essentially that format in the E series. Yeah, there's a program that we used when people had an A to E when they switched over because they didn't want to lose all their USBs, right? And the same thing from SU to A. But a lot of people had all these USB floppy disks that they were recording. They didn't want to lose all of their information. And I have a conversion that allows you to convert it from an SU to an A. And then I have a conversion program that allows you to convert it from A to E. Now, it does not work on a Mac. It has to be on a PC. And I'm telling you this because if you have an SU series organ, when you get an A model, you're going to want to convert. See me. So essentially, I have the format that was converted. I can share that format with you if you really need it. Some people got it a long ways because we started doing that. But you have to know how to download them, and I can do that. So Charlene, if you want that, I can share that with you via Dropbox. And I think the last time we communicated, you said something about a family member maybe helping you. So essentially, that's a long answer for that, but I also want to explain why that is.
Well, that explains the question I was going to ask was when you send a song on your Song of the Month or one of the times, you put that A, P, S, D, whatever the world it is, and that what you said explains it.
Yeah. So that means it's in a Lowrey format, and that's the A format. If it's an EX or EY, it says EP set, E song. So a lot of times when I put that up there, just be conscious of that. And it's okay to put them both on the same USB stick because the Lowrey organ will only recognize the format that the organ it's in. So a lot of times, we're just thinking positive. We'll sometimes when we give presets on a USB, if the person has an A series model, we'll put both formats in that in hopes of that someday they'll get an EX model. Then you already have all that
Then
information.
we're going to be in real trouble. You go from the MP3, then the USB, and then the newer organs. I don't know what they are. What's that? How they save their things?
Well, it just depends on the model. But
Right. Exactly.
okay. Any other questions? Good questions.
That's it.
Robert,
Yes.
on my Aria stick that came with the 50 songs on it, I can also load song setup for those 50 songs to get the presets.
So you must have the EX formatted.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends. When it originally came out, Lowrey did not have the 50 songs recorded in EX. They were MP. So basically what we all started doing was converting those from the A to
That'd
the
be kinda
E.
cool.
And a lot of times what I did is I put both formats on the USB, because some people were just so used to using their Lowrey USB stick. Every now and then I'll get a phone call. I put in the USB, it says there's no songs in there. And because it only has the MP format and you have to
Yep.
press the audio.
That was me.
Was that you? And
Yep.
so sometimes it has to be, and sometimes you'll get a USB with both formats. So it can be done if you don't have it. Okay. I'll finish up with one last number. I'll load a song preset. Let's see. I used that book already, but I'd use a different book. Let's see. Oh yeah, I want that one. I want mine.
Thank you, Robert. I do have to get going.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Well, I don't need the song book, but oh, by the way, as you probably saw, I sent out an email. Marco Mendez and I are doing a very special event this Friday, and we're encouraging you to attend. And if you do attend, we're going to draw a lucky winner, and I'm going to give away a real nice prize. Don't do that to you? Well, I didn't do it to you. I didn't do it on purpose. She said, don't do it. Like I said, I'm going to do an event and give away a prize because I know she has an appointment that can't make it. All right. So with that said, I'll play one other song here. Let's see. Where's my USB? I'll use mine. I'll play one here. And let's see. I'll do load song presets. Now, fortunately, mine has both formats. So either way would have worked for me. And let's see here. Yeah, I haven't played this song in a while. I remember one time way back when I learned this song. This was back about 4 years ago. And I finally learned the song. and I found myself playing it a lot. No. Bessima Mucho, I could play it a lot and still enjoy playing it because the way I have my presets on those, it allows me to improvise along the way, to do other little things. This song here, the way I have my presets, I kind of have to just follow the format, although I can go off and do a solo if I want to have some fun. But I've started to doing it so much because it was a style that was originally introduced on the Marquee. It's a fun style. And when the Symphony was introduced in 2020, it was put on here, and a lot of people enjoyed listening. So I was demonstrating that style a lot. But after a while, I was starting to tell my staff members, I'm starting to hate the song because I play it so much. But it's a fun song. I haven't played it in a while. Let me find it. I do need the music for this one, so I'm glad I found my songbook. Don't be cruel, somewhere out there.
Do you have that songbook for sale?
This one here? No, you can buy one, I'm sure. It's a $300 songbook. It's a $300 songbook, but we include the USB for free. All right, let me see here. Oh, where are you? I should have looked up my thing here. I didn't number my pages. All right, sorry about that. The song is called Cabaret. And was it a controversial movie?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why, because I didn't do that to song 14. See, this would have been great if it was alphabetized. Yeah. I'm going to have to go back and clip this part out when I post this video because nobody's going to want to sit here and watch me fumble. I should have, oh, there it is. Finally. Boy, I hope I play the song good after all that. Okay, so I'll do that, and I'll try to improvise a little bit to have some fun. So here we go. Oh, and I just remembered that I have two formats for this song. One was Vegas Big Band, because not everybody had the cabaret style. Oh, interesting. I just learned something new about my own presets. It's been a while. Here we go. Take two. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's class. You'll relearn something. We talked about this, so I did a few extra things today. And as always, stay safe, keep playing music every day, and mwah, everybody. And I'll get that to you, Charlene.
Okay, thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.